All right, so for example 2, we are going to do a different method other than synthetic division. We're actually going to take all these possible rational roots, and we're going to plug them in to the function. So what I'm actually going to be doing here, and I'll show you the long way once, but then I'll show you a way you can kind of save yourself some time here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to plug in all of these numbers. And the first thing I have listed on the left side of the screen is positive 1. So what you're actually doing is instead of x cubed, you're going to do 1 cubed. So everywhere you see an x in the function, you're going to replace it with 1. And I would always put parentheses around it. Otherwise, you could have some sign issues. So what I'm going to do now is press enter, and it gives me negative 12. That's why I have 1 and then an arrow to negative 12. Now, there's a faster way to do this without having to retype it in every single time if you have one of these calculators. So what we can do is store the number. So each number that I'm going to test, which are the 1, 2, 3, and 6, positive and negative, you can store each one, and that way you only have to type in the problem once, and then you're basically going to copy and paste it. So here's how you store a number. I'm going to do number 2. So you type in your number, and then you hit the store button, which says STO with a little arrow next to it. It's right next to the number 1. And then you choose any variable. I'm going to choose x because that's what our problem is. And now I'm going to press enter. So now anytime I type in the letter x in this calculator screen, it's automatically going to replace it with the number 2. So now I'm going to type in my problem, which is x cubed minus 7x minus 6. And when I press enter, the calculator will automatically put in 2 for me. And you'll see that I should get negative 12 again, which I do. Now I can store 3, which is my next value. So now I'm going to replace the 2 with a 3. And now instead of retyping the problem, I can just arrow up until I highlight my problem, and I press enter to paste it, and then press enter one more time, and it does my evaluating for me. So now you can see that's why I have 3 is equal to 0, because that's what the value gives me. And now I can just keep doing that. So now I'm going to store 6, go up, copy and paste, press enter, I get 168. I can store negative 1, and then I'm going to go up and copy and paste, press enter, I get 0, so that's why negative 1 is one of my zeros. Negative 2 I can store in as x. So this is still pretty tedious. I get another 0, but it's a lot better than having to type it in every single time. And especially with all those parentheses, it would be really easy to make a mistake or forget something. All right, so at negative 3 I get negative 12, and then finally I'm going to store negative 6. Press enter, go back up to copy and paste my equation, and I get negative 180. So my 3 zeros that I ended up getting were positive 3, negative 1, and negative 2. Those were the only numbers that when I plugged them in for x gave me an answer of 0.